Let's talk about the real truth of why men want to be single. Most of us get influenced by what we see, what we hear, and what we consume online or through the conversations taking place around us. Wherever you are in the world, I can bet you will have heard more about the rising cases of divorces, cheating, men and women breaking up, and modern women having unlimited and sometimes unrealistic expectations from men. Men no longer see committing to a woman in a relationship as a worthwhile investment of their time, energy, resources, and months, years, and decades. They see women with unreasonable expectations demanding everything from men while not being part of the equation. They see entitled women as believing that it's a man's sole responsibility to care for, provide for, protect, please, pleasure, and bow down to women in order to serve them. They see the truth behind women with their hypergamous nature and their selective equality. When we say men want to be single, we really mean it. Today, men are willingly choosing not to commit to women. They're willingly choosing to build their lives without having a woman by their side. They're willingly making sure they don't get entangled in marriages, knowing that the whole justice system works against them and is designed to help women and assume men as the perpetrators by default. They're willingly avoiding women at work, knowing full well that one call to HR with an allegation can result in their termination and resultantly the end of their reputation and potential to earn and become something. They're willingly choosing not to date older women who only want them for their resources. They're willingly avoiding women who spend their prime chasing the bad boys and partying away their lives. Why? Because they've realized the juice is not worth the squeeze. Apart from the traditional dynamics that revolve around dating in live action, a lot has changed when it comes to dating and relationships online and on social media. A few years ago, the majority of online dating was conducted in the same manner as it always has been. Women would advertise themselves online on websites and would subsequently get hundreds of messages from men. Guys would be lucky to receive even one answer from the dozens or hundreds of women they approached. To connect and get the chance to speak with a lady in this scenario, the males would need to exert all of their efforts. Do you know what the worst aspect of dating apps for men is? It is utterly intended to harm people and undermine their self-worth. This is due to the fact that women have always had an advantage on dating apps and social networking sites. And I've talked about this in some of our previous videos as well. If there are 10 women on a particular dating app looking for a date at a particular time, there are going to be 500 guys looking for each of those 10 women, making it a case of extreme demand and short supply. Even if it's online, women need to feel validated. That's something that they will always need and want. The critical elements of what I like to call dating 2.0, published a few years ago, are Tinder and, to a lesser extent, Hot or Not. Neither men nor women needed to set up online dating profiles with this new kind of dating. They both just swiped left for people they don't like and right for people they do. Since the majority of them closed their eyes and swiped to the right to maximize the number of women they may pick from, guys are once again succeeding in showering women with attention. Most guys will also swipe to the right when they see an ugly or unattractive woman, especially if she rates a 3, 4, or below on the attractiveness scale. After reading a recent article suggesting that most men swiped right on every single woman they see, I decided to put this hypothesis to the test by doing the same on Tinder to see what results I would get. And as it turned out, a number of the heaviest women I had ever seen answered. I swiped right on women I thought were stunningly gorgeous with my prior strategy, and even though I swiped at least 50 women, I never got more than 3 or 4 matches. As a result, this is the normal match rate for guys. However, if they swipe right on every lady they see, they will have more options. But for women, the opposite is true. Simply put, they publish their profiles, relax, and let each swipe brush their egos individually. It's important to understand that women don't really respond to your overall profile in online dating. They'll respond if you tick all the boxes they have for the sort of guys they're seeking. For example, they'll swipe right if you're a certain height, or if you're dressed like you know how to, or if you show that you're well-read and well-traveled. Only if you check off all the appropriate boxes will women reply. Also, I can only assume that women in their mid to late 30s who are obese, lack fashion sense, or simply don't have fascinating personalities will also swipe right on every man. They are at the bottom of the market for female intimacy. If they're still having trouble finding someone, they switch to other dating services that are only open to those who have become completely cut off from society due to technology. Women typically have brief bios on their dating profiles, and they frequently use the same material on both platforms. Descriptions that include typical things such as their love for pets and repulsion for men who only want one-night stands. Women naturally want men to have value and will change their perspective on dating if you bring that value. Ironically, though, if these women met an attractive guy who checks all of their boxes, they'd be more than willing to have one-night stands with him. They would forego all of their so-called principles and lose their personal ethics to have a chance at a hot fling with someone who they think is hot and attractive. The point here is that because of this imbalance in online dating, women receive more attention than they ever can, and men get to have their self-esteem crushed by women who only see them as one of 500 men who swiped right on their profile. This causes many guys to grow to hate and dislike women, and some of them go as far as to become incels. I want to sincerely warn you guys about it. Listen, hating on women won't make your problem go away. If you chose to follow your own path and take the red pill, that is a totally different matter, and I completely respect your decision because I am aware that you do not despise women. Rather, you simply want to concentrate on yourself and lead the best life possible without taking into account other people. But if you choose to become an incel, then you really need to reconsider, because that's just another form of degeneracy. You're acting exactly like a woke extreme feminist who hates on guys all day long and then wonders why there's no happiness and intimacy in your life. The main way to prevent going to that extreme is to really engage with women, meet more of them, date them, and learn about their perspectives while still leading a better lifestyle. You can't simply start demeaning a whole gender because you weren't able to spend time with them or didn't really have the chance to. I am aware of the terrible damage done by women's left swipes and ignored messages to a man's self-esteem. And now, I'll share with you research I saw that said that if conditions don't change soon, a whole generation, and maybe generations to come, may contain males who have never had intimate relationships with women and who would eventually adopt radical viewpoints which harm themselves and their thinking. What happens next will only be decided by the men and women who are the real players in the dating game. If more men can understand this in a broader context and pursue more women without disparaging them, and if women recognize where men are coming from and give them a chance, we could have a feeling of normalcy in how dating will progress in the future. Otherwise, there will be anarchy in societies around the Western world. And so, men would rather be single than go through the trouble of being with women. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. And let us know your thoughts on this in the comments. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.